Hey everyone, my name is Wedge and we are running right through Guilds of Ravnica preview season like a bunch of maniacs possessed. In this video, we're going to look at a new guild artifact cycle, a bomb split card, a giant beast, some broken nonsense, and a lot more. So strap in and get ready. I do hope you enjoy the video, and if you do, remember to hit that like button, helps out a lot. Mausoleum Secrets is 2 mana for an instant with Undergrowth. Search your library for a black card with converted mana cost less than or equal to the number of creature cards in your graveyard. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. I can't be the only one who sees this for what it is, right? A broken as heck black tutor. It lets you grab any black card, not just a creature or non-creature, any black card. All you need? Creatures in the yard. The community has been chatting about the best targets for this. We've got Slaughter Pact on 0, Thoughtseize and Death Shadow on 1, oh my god, also Surgical Extraction, Assassin's Trophy on 2, Liliana of the Veil on 3. I mean, you have to see how crazy this is. To get any black card without needing a specific type of card is bonkers amazing. Mausoleum Secrets is pretty dang busted, obviously a staple in Commander until the end of time. This card could penetrate constructed formats. It is that good. Is it just me or is this set pretty pushed right now? Midnight Reaper is 3 mana for a 3/2 zombie knight. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, the Reaper deals 1 damage to you and you draw a card. I like this. The design is sick, but what makes this card truly great, at least to me, that type line, Zombie Knight. Both of those are strong creature types right now with a lot of recent support. I don't mean for Standard, but more for Brawl or Commander. The Reaper gets you cards off of any of your non-token creatures dying. Think about how many zombies and knights end up dying throughout the course of a game. And since you're playing a format with an increased life total, at least most likely, the Reaper pinging you isn't going to be that big of a deal. A lot of players think that Dark Confidant isn't coming back because this card's in the set, but I don't think the two are related at all. Confidant isn't coming back because it's a broken card. Reaper has nothing to do with it. And it simply is just good. It's a good card. Arclight Phoenix is 4 mana for a 3/2 Phoenix with flying and haste. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you cast 3 or more instant and or sorcery spells this turn, you may return the Phoenix from the graveyard to the battlefield. Okay, I want to like this card, and you all know that I'm usually more optimistic than most, but this just seems straight up bad to me. 4 mana for a 3/2 flyer with haste is okay, but that recursion is near impossible to satisfy repeatedly, especially in the late game, which is when you need to be able to do that. Compare this to Rekindling Phoenix, and it's like night and day. Arclight isn't even that good in Limited. This is a feel-bad mythic as far as I'm concerned. Now, of course I could just be wrong, but I really don't think I am. Having to cast 3 spells is a huge hurdle to jump over that isn't going to get any easier as the game goes on. I mean, even if you use Jumpstart to discard this, or use Surveil, or even use both of those multiple times to get multiple Phoenix into your yard, it's still a crazy amount of hoops to jump through to create a watered-down Vengevine situation. Could be fun to try, but I don't think Counterburn had this in mind when it became a deck. It's still pretty wonky. Control decks with lots of cantrips, but even then, there are better payoff cards. Maybe I'm way off, but I'll pass on this for now. I need to see more of the set for a card like this. It's real weird. Goblin Banner is 1 red mana for a 1/1 Goblin Soldier with Mentor. You can pay 2 mana and it gets +2/+0 until end of turn. This goblin's pretty interesting. By itself, you can attack in with a 3/1 on turn 2. That's what the ability lends itself to on the surface, but looking a little deeper, that +2 is a Mentor enabler. Get another 1/1 goblin on the battlefield, this ability will make Mentor quite good. The flexibility is nice, and what makes it even better, you can use that ability more than once per turn, so when your mentoring pays off and everything is huge, you can give this 5 total power and trigger Mentor again. It's so good. Banneret is a good 1 mana creature. It's like the king of Mentor. Our Boredom Elemental is 7 of anything and 2 green for a 7/5 Elemental with Convoke and Hexproof. Why? Why does Wizards keep giving good creatures Hexproof? Why? This is a limited bomb. Yes, it's 9 mana. But it really isn't thanks to Convoke. And when you play this monstrosity, it's a 7/5 that can't be targeted, which means that 99% of the removal in the set is garbage. And there's no way you can easily fight a 7/5 on the ground. This is like every other green creature with hexproof they've printed for Limited. Super powerful, near impossible to deal with when it hits the ground. Game ender for sure, it's a friggin' nightmare. Beast Whisperer is 2 of anything and 2 green for a 2/3 elf druid. Whenever you cast a creature spell, draw a card. Oh boy, so they finally put Glimpse of Nature on a creature. Super, great, awesome. I don't care that it costs 4 mana, they even made it an elf. With most any elf deck, this is going to let you draw your entire deck, which, spoiler alert, elves love to do. Again, I get that the increased cost is supposed to make this thing fair. I get it. But still, Beast Whisperer is carrying one of the most powerful triggers in Magic. Don't ignore that. It's a dumb card. Elves players just enjoy. Wow. Nullhide Ferox is 2 of anything and 2 green for a 6/6 beast with hexproof. You can't cast non-creature spells. For 2 of anything, the Ferox loses all abilities until end of turn. Any player may activate this ability, and if a spell or ability an opponent controls causes you to discard the Ferox, put it onto the battlefield instead of putting it in your graveyard. Holy butts, this thing's brutally huge. Let's break it down. It's a 4 mana 6/6 with hexproof. That's crazy. Now, there is technically a drawback in that you can't cast non-creature spells, but you're playing a giant green creature, so, I mean, you tell me, are you casting non-creature spells? Probably not. Then the ability. Any player may use it. So you can use it, tax yourself, make your Ferox vulnerable in exchange for being able to cast spells. Your opponents can pay the mana, tax themselves, but then give you an opening to use your spells. Ferox is an interesting political card. I'm a huge fan. Obviously broken and limited. Someone put this in a deck with Goreclaw so that we can just cast it for 2. That sounds fun, right? Gotta love green. This card is dope. One of the best in limited for sure. Oh, also green Stompy. You're starting to look real sick. Expansion is 2 hybrid blue and red mana for an instant. Copy target instant or sorcery spell with converted mana cost 4 or less. You may choose new targets for the copy. Explosion is X double blue and double red for an instant. It deals X damage to any target. Target player draws X cards. Whoa, okay, we're going to ignore expansion completely because explosion is totally outrageous. This is like the Is It Sphinx's revelation. Replace gaining life with direct damage and poof, you got it. Explosion is very good, especially in a Jeskai control deck or even Grixis control shell. The card's bonkers. Now, the cost is relatively high, intended to improve upon the original Revelations design, no doubt, but still, it's a late game bomb that can deal a boatload of damage, function as a removal spell, then refill your hand on your opponent's turn. This is a card worth paying attention to. Of course, thanks to the wording, it's also pretty nice for Nekasar, but hey, whoever thinks about Nekasar? Me. Molder Hulk is 7 of anything, 1 black and 1 green for a 6/6 fungus zombie with undergrowth. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature card in your graveyard. When the Hulk enters the battlefield, return target land card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Whoa, look! Another card for the Gitrog monster or Lord Windgrace. So innovative. Look, Golgari, I'm not even sure what else they could print that you'd actually want at this point. It feels like they keep giving you literally everything. Now, a land recursion fatty with an easy to enable cost reducer? Why not? Just answer all of Golgari's wishes, R&D. Don't let the mana cost sway you. This card is strong, played in Commander, probably Brawl too. Just, things are getting real black-green up in here. Vraska Golgari Queen is 2 of anything, 1 black and 1 green for a 4 loyalty legendary planeswalker. You can +2 and you may sacrifice another permanent. If you do, you gain 1 life and draw a card. You can -3 and destroy target non-land permanent with converted mana cost 3 or less, or you can -9 and get an emblem with, quote, whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, that player loses the game, end quote. And just what I thought, Golgari literally got everything. They're given a beautiful sack outlet, abrupt decay on a stick, and somehow one of the most absurd emblems in the history of ever. It's like they took original Vraska and said, you know what? This isn't good enough. Let's give everything player death touch. That seems fine. We're going to need to break this card down a bit. 4 mana for a 4 loyalty planeswalker checks out. You can immediately +2, go to 6, sack a permanent, gain 1 life and draw a card. Great first ability that synergizes with the guild. Her -3 protects herself, which is exactly what you want in a minus ability, and her -9 is effectively a game ender. You probably won't get there because using abrupt decay over and over again is way too much fun, but it is there. Now, if we're talking standard playability, we're going to need to see a nice shell that can take advantage advantage of her +2 without forcing you to sacrifice something that actually matters. The success or failure of this card in a format like Standard is dependent on that first ability. We're looking for something akin to Aristocrats or mass token generation, possibly Obzan at this point considering what's in Standard already. I think it's pretty obvious that this Vraska is going to see play in Commander. That +2 and especially her ultimate are forces to be reckoned with. Along similar lines, she would make an excellent Brawl commander if you don't just include her in Muldrotha, which I'm sure most players will. As long as you're on theme and can take advantage of that +2, Vraska's good everywhere. We have Cluestone, Signets, Key Runes, and now we have Lockets. The 5 guilds represented in Guilds of Ravnica have some sweet color fixing, ramp, card advantage goodness. These Lockets are powerful. They give you what you need in the early game, and then they reward you in the late game with 2 cards. 2, that's crazy. I don't care that the cost is 4 color specific mana, I don't care one bit. By the time you'll want to use this ability, at least most of the time, you'll have that mana available. The Lockets are strong. They'll be insane and limited, but even more importantly, great for Commander and Brawl. Those formats need as much fixing and ramp as they can get. These will do just that. Solid design. Can't wait for Wizards to finish this cycle. It's sick. Guildmages Forum is a land card you can tap to add 1 colorless mana to your mana pool. You can also pay 1 and tap it to add 1 mana of any color. If that mana is spent on a multicolored creature spell, that creature enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. This is pretty sweet design. Obviously, players aren't going to be excited about tapping multiple lands for a single mana, but it does color fix you and gives you some nice upside in the process, a +1/+1 counter. That value isn't lost on me. Atraxa, Gave, Animar, Marath. Plenty of places for this card to go in Commander. I think the only real feel bad about this is that it's rare, but I think it has to be rare. That is a rare ability. Anyhow, solid Commander land. Love that something like this is in a Ravnica set. It feels right. Threw a lot at you today. I gotta know what you're thinking. We have so much to discuss. What do you think about Vraska, crazy Golgari nonsense? Anything else? I need to know how you're feeling. Personally, I think Ravnica is living up to the hype, at least for now. I think we're dealing with a set that is pretty pushed for Standard, definitely for Commander, and maybe even Modern a little bit. Wizards likes to do that when we go back to Ravnica, so I'm sure we're just getting started. So excited for the rest of preview season. Hopefully you've been enjoying the videos, as there are plenty more to come, and as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. This video is brought to you in part by TCGplayer.com. Boxes of Guilds of Ravnica card pre-ordering right now for $91 each. $91, that's such a good price. If you don't have a local game store or yours charges way too much, click the link on the screen for fair prices, speedy shipping, and to help the channel. Everyone wins. You get amazing cards on the cheap. Local game stores that sell on TCG Player get to be happy, and I get to wake up tomorrow and not be homeless. Feels like we're all winning. Enjoy.